Well, the Greek debt crisis is continuing to make headlines, isn't it, Ariane?
Indeed, but it looks like it's a little bit better news now. Global financial markets are beginning to overcome fears of a Greek sovereign default after a Eurozone IMF standby emergency loan package was agreed upon on Sunday. On Tuesday, Athens auctioned off over €1.5 billion of 6-month and 1-year Treasury bills. The auction was a huge success and oversubscribed by 6 times. Greece is in the process of refinancing over €50 billion of maturing debt. Time now to take a closer look at some of those market numbers in Frankfurt. The DAX has moved up slightly at the end of trading, close to 62.50. The Eurozone blue chips ended the day up nearly 1/3% at 3,002. In New York, the Dow moved above the 11,000 mark at 11,017. And the euro has slipped back a little right now to $1 35.96. Fourth-generation mobile service licenses are going under the hammer today in the German city of Mainz. It's Europe's first 4G auction and is expected to generate up to €6 billion for the German state. The new technology is the successor to 3G UMTS and will support the new long-term evolution or LTE technology. Germany's 4 biggest mobile operators are fighting for a piece of the pie.
Welcome to the Journal on DWTV. I'm Terry Martin in Berlin.
And I'm Ariane de Hoog with the business news. Welcome.
The headlines.
Well, for more, let's go to Stefan Wolf, who's standing by at the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. Stefan, Greece is testing the markets with Treasury bills. What's the reaction? Now, markets were down at closing. What can you tell us about that? Stefan Wolf in Frankfurt, thanks for the update. Time to take a closer look at some of those market numbers. In Frankfurt, the DAX ended the day down nearly 1/3% lower at 62.30. The Euro Stoxx 50 closed nearly 0.5% down at 29.88. In New York, the Dow slid below 11,000 at 10,990 a short while ago, and the euro is at $1 35.79. As Greece struggles to manage its debt crisis, Germany's economy is well on the road to recovery. In an interview with DWTV, the head of economic forecasting at the Berlin-based DIW Economic Research Institute said German GDP was estimated to grow 1.7% this year. The upswing in Germany is based on the global economic recovery, and DIW experts say they expect businesses to stop cutting jobs this year. Other German research institutes, which are due to release their spring reports on the German economy on Thursday, are also forecasting solid growth. The web-based social networking service Twitter has unveiled a model to turn its popularity into advertising revenue. Twitter users send short text messages known as tweets to let others know what they're up to at any given moment. Now, when a user searches for a particular word, an ad called a promoted tweet will appear. So far, Twitter, which is privately held, has made some money through alliances with search engine services from Google, Microsoft, and Yahoo. They incorporate some Twitter feeds into their search results for a fee. Twitter started up 4 years ago and now has some 22 million registered users around the world. Twitter has been slow to test and develop revenue streams. A parliamentary report on what led to the financial crisis in Iceland has sharply criticized what it called a lack of regulatory oversight. The massive 2,300-page report released on Monday condemned political leaders for allowing uncontrolled growth of the country's banks.
Time to catch up now on the latest business news. It looks like Greece has another lifeline that's been tossed to it. Is that going to help it out of its troubles?
Absolutely. It's definitely better news at the moment. Global financial markets are beginning to overcome fears of a Greek sovereign default since Eurozone IMF standby emergency loan package was agreed upon Sunday. On Tuesday, Athens auctioned off over €1.5 billion of 6-month and 1-year Treasury bills in a massively oversubscribed auction. Greece is in the process of refinancing over €50 billion of maturing debt. Now, Lufthansa stocks on a bit of a roller coaster. What's going on there?
Lufthansa shares have been dragged down in the early session, but then they bottomed out here on the floor, mainly driven by the fact that passenger numbers went up in the first 3 months of this year. Especially its Austrian subsidiary, Austrian Airlines, has been very successful. Passenger numbers went up by more than 7% in this first quarter. This has been very good news. It shows that Lufthansa is still among the successful airlines, and this helped a lot, of course.
Jeff Wolfman, Frankfurt, thanks for the update. Time to take a closer look at some of those market numbers now. In Frankfurt, the DAX is just over 0.1% lower at 62.43. The Euro Stoxx 50 is barely into negative territory at 3,000 points. Trading in New York began a short while ago. The Dow Industrials are edging into positive territory at 11,009. And the euro is trading slightly firmer at $1 35.91. Popular microblogger Twitter is set to unveil a model it thinks will finally generate some advertising revenue. Twitter users post text messages known as tweets telling others what they're up to at that moment. Now, when a user searches for a particular word which has been bought by a company, an ad called a promoted tweet will come up on top.
Hello and welcome to the Journal on DW TV. I'm Amrita Chima in Berlin.
And I'm Ariane de Hoog with the business news. Welcome.
The headlines this hour. And now it's for business news with Ariana and a big announcement from Daimler.
That's right, Amrita. The CEO of German carmaker Daimler has told the annual shareholder meeting in Berlin today that he will almost entirely sever business ties to Iran. Amid growing pressure on the Islamic Republic to curb its nuclear program, Dieter Zetsche said the company was, quote, compelled to seek new footing for its dealings with Iran. Some tough questions are expected from small shareholders and workers today. And outside the venue, demonstrators mounted a protest against management policies which they claim are costing jobs and damaging working conditions. Inside, Zetsche also confirms a decision to scrap the dividend for last year after posting losses of 2.6 billion euros in 2009. But he insisted the company is well positioned to tackle the future. The world's biggest computer chip maker, Intel, has posted a nearly four-fold rise in quarterly net profits. Sales rose 44%, over $10 billion, and Intel says it plans to hire up to 2,000 employees this year. The chip maker's performance is strongly linked to broader technology and computer spending.